Leon Trotsky stood before the crowd in Petrograd, his eyes scanning the sea of eager faces, each one reflecting the hope and fear of a world on the edge of monumental change. His voice, steady and commanding, echoed through the open square as he began his speech, a speech that would shake the very foundations of Russia and the world. "The time has come," he began, "for the people to rise up and claim what has always been theirs. The time for revolution is now." These words, simple yet powerful, were the opening salvo in a speech that would mark a turning point in the Russian Revolution and in the history of the world. The revolution, which had begun as a spark, was now a roaring fire, ready to consume everything in its path. And Trotsky, the man who had once been an outsider, was now one of its most powerful voices. The crowd hung on every word. They were no longer just passive observers. They were participants in a grand historical experiment. Trotsky's words were not just about politics. They were about the very soul of humanity. They spoke to the oppressed, to the workers who had long been silenced by the ruling elite. "We are the revolution," Trotsky declared, "and the revolution is us." This was not a call to arms. It was a call to arms of the mind and spirit. It was a call for the people to awaken to their power, to understand that the world could be remade in their image. The speech was not just about Russia. It was a message to the world. Trotsky's vision was global. He saw the revolution as a spark that would ignite uprisings in every corner of the earth. The working class, once bound by the chains of oppression, now had the power to break free and reshape the world. "The world will no longer be governed by the interests of the few," Trotsky proclaimed, "but by the needs of the many." These words were not just revolutionary. They were a declaration of war against the capitalist system that had held the world in thrall for centuries. And Trotsky, with his fiery rhetoric and unwavering conviction, was ready to lead the charge. But the path to revolution was not without its challenges. Trotsky knew that the forces of reaction would not simply fade away. He understood that the revolution would face fierce opposition, both from within and without. "The bourgeoisie will not surrender without a fight," he warned. "But we are the people, and we will fight for our freedom." These words were a promise and a threat. A promise to the workers and peasants that their struggle would be justified, no matter the cost, and a threat to the old guard that their time was running out. Trotsky's speech was not just a call for political change. It was a call for a new kind of society, a society where power would not be concentrated in the hands of a few, but distributed among the people. He spoke of a world where the workers controlled the means of production, where the economy was organized for the benefit of the many, not the few. "The old world is dying," Trotsky said, "but the new world is being born, and it will be a world of justice, equality, and freedom." The revolution, according to Trotsky, was not just a political event. It was a moral one. It was a battle between good and evil, between the forces of oppression and the forces of liberation. "We are not fighting for power," Trotsky explained. "We are fighting for the soul of humanity." His vision was not just about the destruction of the old order. It was about the creation of a new one that was more just, more humane, and more equitable. As the speech continued, Trotsky's words became more impassioned. He spoke of the struggles of the past, of the peasants, the workers, the soldiers, and how their suffering had brought them to this moment of revolutionary possibility. "For too long," Trotsky said, "the people have been silent, but now they are speaking, and their voices will not be ignored." The crowd erupted in applause. They could feel the power of Trotsky's words coursing through them, and they knew that this was their moment. This was their chance to change the world. But Trotsky was not just offering empty promises. He was laying the groundwork for what was to come. "The revolution will not be easy," he admitted. "There will be sacrifices, there will be struggles, but we will not falter, we will not retreat. We will fight until the revolution is complete. His words were not just motivational, they were a challenge. A challenge to the revolutionaries to stay committed, no matter what. A challenge to the bourgeoisie to recognize that the time for their rule had passed. And a challenge to the world to recognize that a new era was beginning, one that would forever alter the course of history. Trotsky's speech was also a call for unity. He knew that the revolution would only succeed if the people stood together. We are not just Bolsheviks, we are not just workers, we are not just peasants, he said. We are all united in this struggle, and together we will win. This was not just a political statement, it was a plea for solidarity. Trotsky understood that the revolution was a collective effort and that it would require the full participation of every person in society. As Trotsky's speech came to a close, he delivered one final message. The revolution is not just an event, it is a process, and it will continue until we have achieved our goal, until the people are free, until the world is free. These words were not just a closing statement, they were a declaration of intent. The revolution, Trotsky made clear, was not a passing moment. It was the beginning of a new era, and it was an era that would be defined by the will of the people. The crowd erupted into applause, their hearts filled with hope and determination. They were ready to follow Trotsky, to fight for the revolution, to create a new world. As the cheers rang out, Trotsky knew that this was only the beginning. The road ahead would be long and difficult, but the revolution was alive, and it would not be stopped. If you were inspired by Trotsky's words, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts on his revolutionary vision. What do you think? Did Trotsky's speech change the course of history? Let us know in the comments below. Trotsky's revolutionary vision was not just an idealistic dream, but a call to action that demanded clarity and resolve. As he stood before the people, he made no attempt to sugarcoat the challenges ahead. He understood that the revolution was a daunting endeavor. We are not just seeking to replace a few men at the top, he warned. We are dismantling a system that has existed for centuries. This will not be accomplished in days or months, but years of struggle. His words rang with a fierce optimism, yet also a sobering recognition of the immense task ahead. The revolution was no mere political upheaval. It was the beginning of a profound societal transformation. Trotsky did not just focus on the mechanics of political change. He articulated a broader philosophical and moral argument for revolution. The old world is built on inequality, exploitation, and oppression, he declared. We are tearing down the pillars of that world, brick by brick, and building something new in its place. His speech was steeped in the belief that the new world would not only be politically different, but morally superior. This moral vision became central to Trotsky's leadership, as he aimed not just to win a political victory, but to create a better, more just world. Yet Trotsky's speech was more than just lofty ideals. It was also a rallying cry for immediate action. The revolution is here, and it is now, he urged. The time for hesitation has passed. We cannot afford to wait for better circumstances, for the revolution must seize the moment. It must act decisively. His words set a tone of urgency that would define the revolution's early years. The Bolsheviks understood that the moment was fragile. Any delay could give counter-revolutionary forces the opportunity to strike back. Trotsky's passion and urgency were matched by his recognition of the broader geopolitical struggles that surrounded Russia. The revolution does not occur in a vacuum, he acknowledged. Our struggle is part of a global movement. He understood that the success of the Russian Revolution was deeply intertwined with the fate of revolutionary movements around the world. He saw the revolution in Russia not as an isolated event, but as part of a greater global wave. The workers of Europe, the peasants of Asia, they are all rising, Trotsky said, and their success will be ours. But if they fail, so will we. This global perspective gave Trotsky's rhetoric a sense of interconnectedness, linking Russia's struggle to the broader fight for liberation. At the same time, Trotsky was keenly aware of the internal divisions within the revolutionary movement. The revolution will not be won by slogans alone, he stated. It will be won through unity of purpose, strength of will, and the willingness to make difficult choices. He knew that the Bolshevik leadership, despite its unity on many fronts, was not immune to infighting. The challenge was not just to rally the masses, but to maintain cohesion within the leadership. Trotsky's ability to navigate these internal power struggles would be put to the test in the years that followed. He believed that the leadership's capacity to adapt and work together was crucial to the revolution's survival. Trotsky also addressed the question of violence in the revolution. While his words often inspired hope, they also contained a stark realism. Revolution is not a peaceful process, he stated bluntly. It is a force that shatters. It is a force that breaks the chains of the past. While he spoke passionately about justice and equality, he acknowledged the necessity of using force to protect the revolution and crush counter-revolutionary forces. This hard stance on violence would define Trotsky's leadership during the Russian Civil War, where he led the Red Army to victory against a coalition of anti-Bolshevik forces. His role in the military struggle became legendary, as he was able to unite the army under a common cause, turning it into a formidable force that would eventually secure the revolution's survival. Trotsky's leadership in the Red Army was built on his charisma and his ability to inspire loyalty. The army is the soul of the revolution, he asserted. Without it, the revolution is nothing. We must win not just on the battlefield, but in the hearts and minds of the people. This was more than just military strategy. It was about creating a sense of collective purpose. Trotsky knew that in order for the revolution to succeed, the army had to be infused with a sense of idealism and commitment to the greater cause. It was not just about defeating the enemy. It was about fighting for a vision of the future. As the Civil War raged on, Trotsky's role became even more central to the Bolshevik cause. He was no longer just a theorist or orator. He was a practical leader, working day and night to ensure the revolution's survival. He traveled to the front lines, organized supplies, and even personally intervened in critical moments of battle. His leadership during this period cemented his status as one of the revolution's most important figures. Yet, despite his successes, Trotsky's path was not without obstacles. The internal divisions within the Bolshevik Party, particularly his growing conflict with Stalin, would eventually lead to his downfall. The very revolution he had worked so hard to build would ultimately turn against him. But even as Trotsky faced political isolation and internal strife, his commitment to the revolution remained unwavering. His speeches, his writings, and his leadership during the Civil War continued to inspire those who believed in the cause of the working class. He may have been exiled and silenced, but his ideas lived on. Trotsky's belief in the possibility of a world free from oppression, exploitation, and inequality continued to influence generations of revolutionary thinkers. Trotsky's speech on the revolution was more than just a political statement. It was a declaration of a new world order. It was a call to arms for the workers of the world, an invitation to build a society based on justice, equality, and solidarity. While the revolution may have faced setbacks and contradictions, the ideas Trotsky championed continue to resonate today. His speech remains a testament to the power of vision, the importance of unity, and the unyielding spirit of those who believe in the possibility of a better world. If you were inspired by Trotsky's revolutionary vision and his commitment to the cause, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts on his legacy. How do you think his ideas shaped the world? Let us know in the comments below.